Episode 41. Can kiss be a punishment? She needed no props to fake her tears. They were real. Though she auditioned alone, she performed both characters in the scene. Everyone watching breathed deeply, feeling the suspense. The exhausted staff lit up with approval. After a full day of predictable auditions, this exciting young actress was like a breath of fresh air. She had finished the scene, but Zape didn't call it a cut. Jade stood in her spot, tears streaming down her face, utterly committed to the scene. Someone began to applaud, and then the room was filled with applause. Even Zape praised her. Well done. Well done. Everyone in the entertainment industry knew that Cape Sade rarely praised anyone. He seemed more than satisfied with her performance. Jade looked down, feeling shy. As soon as the scene ended, her anger vanished, and she felt like herself again. She nodded to Zape, wiping her tears away. Thank you, director, for giving me this chance. Actually, Zape wanted to tell her not to thank him. It was Dario, who sent someone to threaten him if he didn't allow her to audition. But Zape had promised not to tell her. He felt confused, though. Dario was clearly able to make this girl the female lead of the movie, but he wanted her to go through the audition. He said that he didn't care about the outcome, as long as she had a chance to try out. But this girl's skills exceeded his expectations. Zape, at first, thought that this girl would be a terrible actress, and he had barely restrained his contempt for her. But he was wrong. She was 1,000 times better than the other students who had auditioned today. He was so glad he had returned to the university. It would have been terrible to miss out on this wonderful actress. Whereas makeup? I need her in the female lead's makeup and then costume. We're going to take a few photos of her, Zape ordered. Jade thought that the audition had ended. She didn't know there was a photo session. Zape said something about a reference photo for the movie. She stood stock still, hardly believing that this was really happening. Before she knew it, the makeup artist was working on her face and the costume director had brought clothes. When they finished, Jade stood before them in a Japanese school uniform, lightly made up with a simple but chic hairstyle. The entire crew was transfixed by her perfect looks. The scriptwriter muttered to himself, This look is exactly the same I had in my mind. Exactly the same. It's identical. It's like the role was written for her. Cade Zape agreed that Jade was perfect for the role. Jade blushed and dropped her chin. Please, stop teasing me. Okay then, let's start the photo session. Miss Winslet, look over here. It was her first time modeling and she had no idea what to do. The photographer briefly explained what she should do. Jade's talent was so great, she picked it up quickly. She looked like a professional model. Cade Zape seemed extremely satisfied with everything. Jade was busy being photographed, discussing the script, chatting with Zape, having makeup applied and changing costumes. Before she knew it, the sky had darkened and the bright moon was shining. It was almost 11 o'clock when Jade and the crew finished up. Still, Zape wanted to treat everyone to dinner, including Jade, but she declined. She checked her watch as she ran down from stairs, wondering whether he was still there. How could he still be here at such a late hour? The campus was empty when she emerged from the building. The students had all returned to their dorms. Only a few street lamps were lit. Jade felt a strange disappointment. But just as she walked out of the university gates, she heard the sound of a car horn. She turned around and saw a familiar figure standing in front of the headlights. Dario had been standing outside the car at the university gate, waiting for her the whole time. Jade was stunned. If it were not for him dragging her here, she would never have had the chance to audition. She felt grateful and so happy. As Dario walked towards her, Jade suddenly had an idea for a prank. Maybe it was just the thrill of discovering her acting talent. For whatever reason, she put on a helpless, lost look on her face. Dario walked up to her and started to ask how it had gone, but then he saw her face. Dario stopped and stared, then pulled her into his arms. What's wrong? Didn't you get the part? Jade shook her head and sobbed. I didn't. The director said I was too immature and I'm not ready for a lead role. I'm sorry I wasted your time. Dario squinted at her, lifting her chin with his finger so he could look into her eyes. Seriously? Yes, after all, I don't have any before she could finish, Dario pressed his lips against hers. She could feel his warm breath washing over her. "What?" Jade pushed against chest and struggled to break free. When he let go, she pulled a few steps back, covering her mouth and crying out, "Mister, what are you doing?" Why did this man always kiss her forcefully? Dario smirked slyly. He leaned close to her ear and whispered, "That's your punishment." Then he kissed her again. This time, though, he kissed her gently at first, and then with an intensity that made her cling to him, as if he was the only solid thing in a giddy, swaying world. Her insistent mouth was parting her shivering lips, sending wild tremors along her nerves. She felt herself responding to his kiss. This time, Jade was unable to push him away. "No, Dario, let me go." Jade was nearly in tears because of her stupidity. How could she have thought that the man in front of her would keep his word? She regretted tricking him now. With that kiss, Jade's head was spinning. He only let her go when she was about to faint.